Yeah, from 7:15 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day until about 3 a.m. on the following day, which is today the 18th, we had 22 arrests. Of those, 7 were DUIs. All of the DUIs were arrests by the Montana Highway Patrol Special DUI Enforcement Unit. We had 5 disorderly conduct arrests, and we had 1 indecent exposure arrest of note within those 22 arrests. So, as a whole, the arrests were down this year. Compared to last year. We arrested about 30 people last year over the same time frame, and this year, so we're down about 8. So we're happy with that, and a little bit surprised because last year was a Tuesday and this was a Thursday. So a little bit surprised, but pleasantly so.
And they, just the general, how would you judge it, how the crowd behaved last night?
Well, I think early on the crowd was great. Starting from the parade on, I thought the crowd was having a great time. The streets were not as full as we generally see when the weather's a little bit better, but I think all the bars in the uptown area were doing pretty well, and from what we can tell, the crowd was pretty well maintained. We had the one incident in front of the terminal about 1:15 in the afternoon, which was an individual urinating in the street, which resulted in the indecent exposure incident. There was, fortunately, there was a patrol in the area very quickly, a group of foot patrol officers. He obviously caught their attention and brought his St. Patrick's Day festivities to a close earlier than he expected.
And there, what kind of stuff did you mainly encounter, did police officers?
Well, we got the 7 DUIs, which is higher than we'd like to see, but it's not surprising given the number of people who were imbibing yesterday. And then you have the disorderly conduct type things, which are a lot of pushing, shoving matches, those type of things, and then just being loud and boisterous in the streets that probably they'd been asked to stop and didn't. But those kind of things, we generally like to get on the fights right away. So if you're engaged in a fist fight, more than likely you're going to be arrested for disorderly conduct. So I would think that's probably the most likely thing that we saw, those kind of disturbances.
Keep looking at him, but do you think having more officers on the foot patrols affected the lower arrests?
Oh, absolutely. The foot patrols that we implemented several years ago have been a great success. The visibility alone prevents a lot of the problems that we used to see when we didn't do the foot patrol. And then, of course, when there is a disturbance, officers are able to get to it fairly quickly and diffuse the situation. And then if there is an arrest made, our transport units are in there very quickly to make sure that people are transported out of the area before they have an opportunity to continue to cause a disturbance.
And do you know about how many officers were on foot patrols?
Yeah, we had about 4 different groups of between 4 and 6. So probably somewhere between 22 and 24 officers were on foot patrol from 3 o'clock in the morning till the bar shut down at 2 a.m.
And some of those had
Three in
highway
the afternoon,
patrol.
I'm sure you meant to say.
Yeah, we had a good group of highway patrol officers that were on patrol on foot, as well as the special DUI enforcement unit from the highway patrol. So it's a great assistance to us to have the relationship we do with the highway patrol, because they can take care of a lot of the traffic issues and the DUI issues surrounding the celebration. And we can focus pretty much on the disorderly conduct and altercations that break out sometimes later in the night. But overall, I thought everybody was pretty well behaved, given the number of people who were celebrating, and I thought it was a great success.
And like
What
you
about
said,
the number of people there? I mean, how big a crowd was it? How does it compare to previous years?
I think if you compare to previous years, I think it was down a little bit, and I think that was probably the weather. It was windy and snowing, and I think it stopped a lot of people from traveling to Butte for the holiday, as well as it kept a lot of the people out of the streets. So I think the people pretty much gathered in the local drinking establishments, and there wasn't the typical crowd we see on the street. We've had in the past such a large crowd that we had to block off Main Street between Park Street and Broadway, and there was never a time where the traffic was even compromised at all yesterday. So that part of the crowd was way less than we sometimes see, but I attribute that to the weather.
and just to make sure we had the right time, what'd you say, 3
p.m.
p.m. to 6 a.m.?
You said 3 in the morning, but
Oh yeah,
when
we
you had
started the foot patrol at 3 p.m.
Gotcha.
Because that's when we start to see some of the disturbances pick up. And so it was from 3 p.m. and then the bars, we actually started assisting the bars at their request, starting to shut down around 12:30 last night and finished up right about 2 o'clock.
And the concentration was mainly Park and Main area?
Yeah, the Park Street, Main Street, from probably Broadway to Mercury Streets where we see most of the issues as far as altercations and disturbances, but we didn't have a lot of disturbances in bars, and we generally don't.
How about vandalism? Any reports have you this morning of any kind of vandalism and stuff like that?
You know, I haven't looked at the reports. I don't see any vandalisms noted on this stat sheet that I have.
Because that used to be kind of an issue.
Yeah, we sometimes see vandalisms. Sometimes they're related to disorderly conducts where people are pushing and shoving and end up through a window or something in the uptown area. I'll have to check the reports, but I'm not aware of any of those
I didn't
incidents.
see a whole lot, but usually they come in.
Do you know how many overtime hours were put in for the
I
festivities?
don't know how many overtime. We'll be able to check the overtime. We still have DUI officers working all weekend, so Monday we'll be able to give you the total cost of overtime hours of our department. The highway patrol will probably have to give you their statistics as far as overtime, but we'll be able to give you the whole. We're going to continue to keep DUI enforcement shifts out out through the rest of the weekend as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you guys kind of, how is security going to be now? I know St. Patrick's is over, but there's concern because it's going to be the weekend, Friday. And so are you expecting any more?
No, I think we'll see a little bit larger crowds than we normally would see on a Friday or Saturday, but we're going to do some extra officers out on DUI enforcement, but we're going to go with our normal crews unless, we always give our shift commanders the latitude if they see crowds larger than are expected that they can contact the on-call administrator and call out an extra couple officers or however many officers they need to handle whatever situation develops. But we always give that latitude to our shift commanders.
And with the weather and the snowy roads, I don't know if you know this or if George would, the accidents, if there were any accidents in the area from...
There were a couple accidents right after the parade that I don't think were weather related. I think they were just people that were involved in some heavy traffic when people were leaving the parade area, and I don't believe they were weather related.
Okay.